What's the dumbest thing someone has ever blamed you for? I've always been the go-to tech person in my friend group, not because I'm some coding genius, but because I know how to restart a router and use Google. This reputation caught up with me when I moved into a new apartment building. Within a week, I'd become the unofficial IT support for half the complex. My downstairs neighbor Marcus was different though. He was convinced that technology was actively conspiring against him, and when weird things started happening with the building's Wi-Fi, I became his prime suspect. It started small. Marcus would knock on my door complaining that his internet was slow, always around the same time I was home from work. I'd politely suggest he call his provider, but Marcus had already formed his theory. "It's too convenient," he'd say, squinting at me suspiciously. "You show up, my internet dies. You leave for work, it's fine again. Maybe your provider has peak usage issues." That's exactly what someone stealing bandwidth would say. The situation escalated when other neighbors started having connection issues. Instead of considering that our building had old wiring or that multiple people streaming Netflix might strain the network, Marcus launched his investigation. He started keeping detailed logs of when people's internet worked and when it didn't, cross-referencing this data with my comings and goings. The conspiracy grew legs when Marcus discovered that I had multiple devices connected to my network. Laptop, phone, tablet, smart TV. Apparently, this was evidence of my sophisticated cybercrime operation. Nobody needs that many devices unless they're running a server farm, he announced to anyone who'd listen. He's probably mining cryptocurrency and stealing everyone else's bandwidth to power it. Things got ridiculous when Marcus started organizing tenant meetings about the bandwidth theft epidemic. He'd cornered people in hallways, presenting his evidence and demanding action against the cyber criminal in 3B. Most neighbors just nodded politely and changed the subject, but Marcus found a few converts. Soon I had a small but dedicated group of people convinced I was some kind of Wi-Fi vampire, draining their internet through mysterious technical sorcery. The breaking point came when Marcus filed a complaint with the building management, demanding they investigate my illegal network activities. Our poor property manager, Janet, called me into the office looking like she needed a vacation and several drinks. "So," she said, holding Marcus's folder of evidence, "apparently you're running some kind of internet cartel? I have Wi-Fi. That's it. According to this," she flipped through pages, "you're operating a bandwidth redistribution scheme and possibly signal hijacking equipment. Janet, I work tech support for a software company. I fix password reset tickets and tell people to restart their computers." She nodded wearily. "I figured, but I have to follow up on tenant complaints. Mind if we just take a quick look at your setup?" 20 minutes later, Janet was staring at my perfectly normal apartment with its perfectly normal router and completely legal internet connection. "This is just regular stuff," she said. "Yep, your router is literally the same model as mine. It's a good router." The beautiful resolution came 2 weeks later. The building finally brought in actual IT professionals. Turns out our 40-year-old building had wiring that predated the internet by several decades, and the main network junction was held together with electrical tape and prayer. They upgraded the entire system, and suddenly everyone's internet worked perfectly. Marcus's response to this? They obviously covered up the evidence.